Welcome to the Weightlifting Scoop. James Tatum and Glenn Pendlay are here with me.
Hello.
Hello.
And it's good to be back from the Arnold.
It's good to have you guys back from the Arnold.
Yeah.
I had a boring couple of days here by myself.
You wanted to get a podcast out there, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to do something.
Yeah. Well,
did you get to watch on the live stream?
I did get to watch on the live stream. I about poked my eyes out with a stick when Travis missed his snatches at 150. But luckily, I didn't poke my eyes out with the stick.
I hate when I get that urge.
Yeah. Yeah, someday you might just get a wild hair up your ass and do it, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? I really wanted him to make that lift, and he did make it, and I thought he did make it, and then you see those red lights come on, and there was just a sinking feeling in my stomach, because I knew he needed that lift to really be solid on the Pan Am team. I feel like he's pretty solid anyway. I mean, he's got a very low likelihood of getting beat off, but he certainly would have had a less likelihood of something weird like that happening if he would have made that lift, got credit for it. But, you know, it is what it is, and it's all over now, and, you know, hopefully the next meet will be better.
Yep. I mean, it was definitely a fun trip, though. We caravanned up there. We rented 2 vans, drove as a team. So Don drove one van, and Tom drove the other one.
Did you guys stay together most of the time on the way up there and back?
Well, Don certainly wanted to. But whenever we'd get more than 30 feet apart, Don would definitely freak out. He was like, Tom, he's driving so fast. We got to stay together.
Well, there's probably still a little leftover frustration there from when we made the trip out here from California, and everybody was just not willing to cooperate, except for me and Tom. And me and Tom stayed together pretty much the whole way. But then you had Donnie, who had a wild hair up his ass, wanting to go to Prim, Nevada,
and a prime rib,
walk all over everywhere, or go all over everywhere. And then you had Kevin, who decided to take off and leave everybody in the dust. You just had, you know, it was like herding cats. If you ever had heard that expression, keeping everybody on the same line.
Well, when you got a lot of people, it's hard. I mean, that was a lot more cars than 2, so.
Yeah.
Well, you know how you catch cats.
How do you do it?
Just put a box in the middle of the room, and they all go into it. Doesn't matter how big it is. It just has to be a box.
You got to have some method of closing off the box.
Well, I don't know if Tom would have fit in a box.
He probably wouldn't have.
Is that what you're getting at, James?
Tom was in my truck, too. That definitely won't fit in a box.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have nothing about that one.
Yeah.
Out of luck.
Tom wouldn't fit in a box by himself, let alone in a truck. But it was a good drive out here. Of course, that's been a couple years ago. I should stop talking about it probably, but, you know, it was a decent drive. But we're here now, and the Arnold is... We just got over, I guess. And I'm glad you guys are home, you know. I was nervous wreck the whole time you were gone because, of course, we had stories of blizzards and everything else going wrong.
Well, I will say on the way home, I mean, the roads were covered. It was tough on the drive home, and, I mean, I'm thankful that we got home safe for sure.
I've had about enough snow for the next 2 years.
So, Don, you were one of the drivers.
Thank God. You had expert drivers.
Yeah. That's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Well,
I prayed a lot.
We had some Yankees behind the wheel, so.
It's true. It's true.
That always helps out. They know how to shift down when they need to.
I was still nervous. I was sitting in that back seat, and you see Tom passing people on the
Tom doesn't inspire confidence when he drives.
No, yeah. So I put my seatbelt on, and I was just like, "Oh Lord, please don't die."
I would have had mine on too.
You notice, James, that I didn't always follow Tom, though.
Yeah, thank God.
Well, because me and James were back there, like, you don't have to follow him on that covered
They were
icy
crying
road.
like little girls for crying.
Oh yeah, I mean, even Caleb Whitby was like making fun of us.
I mean,
He's just like,
I got things to live for. I want to live until I'm 28 at least.
Yeah, at least 28.
At least I know.
I want to make my next doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
There you go. You know, what the heck?
Wow.
Nobody ain't got time for dying on ice.
Well, as far as the Arnold goes, I mean, the crowd was exciting as always, and it was a ton of fun. The crowd was certainly behind us all in that Pan Am session, and that's definitely one thing that I like about the Arnold is just drawing people that don't always come and watch weightlifting meets to come and watch us, and they're yelling for us, and that's great.
Yeah, people who don't know, and I don't know how much you guys have talked to it, I just walked in, but people who don't know about the Arnold, that was really the first meet in 1,000 years or so that ever drew a crowd to watch Olympic weightlifting. Started back in 2002, I think. And that was by far at that time the biggest crowd I'd ever seen at weightlifting that wasn't made up of somebody's relatives, that was lifting in the contest.
Yeah.
Unless it was the World Championships or
well,
something.
I mean, in the United
Yeah,
States,
yeah.
and, certainly in the United States, again, unless it was a World Championship or something. Or, well, I've been to Pan Ams in the United States. They didn't draw that much of a crowd.
In 2009 there was nobody, but
yeah.
I've been talking up 2015.
Oh, 2015, I guarantee you it'll be packed out because we're hosting Worlds in Houston for those that don't know what we're talking about. I think that would be awesome.
Yes, it will be. Who else is going to make that team? You, of course, Travis. James, of course.
Well, hopefully.
I think,
Never know, you
we've got 3 or 4 possibles on that team.
You got to stay injury-free is the key. You can't make any teams if you're injured. So, obviously, the key for all of us is to stay injury-free and motivated, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
And happy. So.
And happy. That's good.
Happy.
That's good. Stay
Yeah,
happy.
happy and healthy.
Stay happy.
Well,
happy's probably more important than healthy.
Maybe. Might be.
But so we had an awesome time. I think Josh got tons of footage of us playing volleyball in the pool. James out there, he was the ref. He was yelling at us.
Oh yeah, I'm a good volleyball ref. I'll tell you that. People mess up, man. I didn't give him no slack.
He's down on him. He's down on him.
Talk about red lights and weightlifting, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that was tough. I think the 2 names of the teams were one was called High Tea, and the other one was called Purple Monkeys.
Wow. So it was a serious contest.
Serious competition.
Yeah,
very serious.
Yeah.
So I went on a hot streak and I served and I got like 7 points in a row. My team smashed it on the second game. But we got tons of footage of that.
That's obviously more important than the lifting.
Well,
the volleyball game afterwards.
Hey, if you want to have a good team atmosphere and camaraderie going on, you got to play some volleyball in the pool.
Yeah.
Our team camaraderie just
I
went up a
saw
notch.
Russian paper on that. Yeah, I think it was the team camaraderie aspect.
I think Medvedev wrote about that.
I think he did. Yeah. I think that was his. Roman was all against it, but I think Medvedev was all for that. I think that's how that went.
I think everybody. Well, what else were we doing? We threw the safety thing in there, and we were like surfing on it.
So, yeah,
the safety backboard.
Yeah,
yes, I
the
heard
backboard.
I heard there were things done down there that perhaps won't make the film, won't make the video that goes on YouTube.
Jumping in with chairs, no big deal.
Yeah, that's a small thing.
It's a small thing.
They were waterproof.
I think they'll still let us back to that hotel. I think we were okay. We're all right. That was a nice hotel.
Pretty good hotel.
Yeah,
I mean, it was neat because not too many people were staying there, and there was a hot tub and pool. Obviously, that's what we've been talking about, and I mean that's just fun.
We had a couple of kitchens. Had a couple of suites that had kitchens.
Yeah,
and
James
stoves.
made a team breakfast that nobody came to.
Oh, I know.
I forgot about it.
Sunday morning, man.
Well, that's pretty crappy.
I made a whole bunch of bacon and eggs, scrambled them up, had them all set up, and then I'm just waiting there.
Oh,
And then
God.
nobody came.
Nothing worse. Nothing. He had a brunch and nobody came.
There's nothing worse than that.
Just when James thought he was getting popular.
I know. Nobody comes to my breakfast.
He had to make a call. Everybody was sleeping.
I mean, that's the thing,
Yeah,
dude.
I
Hey,
think everybody doesn't wake up that early.
Yeah.
James, you tried to have a party in the morning. That's the problem.
I have a party every
It's a
morning.
bad plan.
If you would have had bacon and eggs at 3 in the morning,
Yeah, well,
everybody would have been.
They'd have been there.
Everybody would have been.
Not
I don't know. I woke up like 30 minutes before then, so I don't know if I would have had it done yet.
What?
You're inserting practicality where none exists.
None exists.
Yeah.
Or is called for.
Yeah, none of it's called for sure.
Morning, people.
As far as the lifting goes, I guess.
Who do you think was the best lifter of the meet? Like of our guys, who had the meet?
Well, James has his PR total,
James had PR total.
And upped his ranking a little bit. I think he's ranked
Came damn close to that last clean and jerk.
like third overall right now.
I think I'm fourth. Kendrick bumped ahead of me, but I bumped above Kane.
Kendrick, Ian, and then you, right? Or
No, there's somebody else in there.
Okay.
D'Angelo.
Oh, D'Angelo's still in there?
okay.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, James upped his ranking a little bit. He hit PRs, and Becca hit a PR total. So the two people that we talked about on the last podcast, as expected, had
I think Caleb
PR
hit a
totals.
PR total, I think.
Yes.
Even with the 85. I mean, we jumped to 93.
He had a lot more in the tank, though.
And he had more in the tank. He had 3 great snatches, which I don't know if he's ever had 3 really good snatches.
Yeah, he went 3 for 3, went 141.
Yeah. Happy to see that.
Which it was consistent, 35, 38, 41, just getting 3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And that's great improvement for him in the snatch for sure. And in the clean and jerk, he made 85 super easy, of course. Went to 93, 193. That would technically be a competition PR. And he made it, got called for press out, and then gave him a chance at 200. So his official total may or may not be a PR, but, you know, with that 93, 41 and 93 would certainly be a PR total, training, competition, whatever.
I truly believe if I'd sent him back out there for the 93, he'd have stoked it on the second try. We just decided to give 200 a go. He had wanted to touch 200 at this meet. He basically asked me which one he should do, and I thought about it. And usually I'm pretty conservative. Usually 9 out of 10 times I say go back out and make the 93. For sure. I could see in Caleb's eyes he wanted to try the 200 though, and I felt it was a good meet for him to try it. I had a big crowd. It's no team points at stake, so and it's far enough away from the Nationals where he's now going to see that 200 several more times before the Nationals, and I think he'll make it at the Nationals.
I mean, I think the big thing in his situation, he had gone 3 for 3 in the snatch, so that was a big confidence boost. He got the 93 overhead, so he knows he can do it.
Yeah.
And at that meet particularly, there's no team points, so individual placement isn't a huge thing. And, you know, unless he makes a huge number, he's not making the Pan Am team, so it's like, hey, you know, get that benchmark. Just go for it.
Yeah.
So,
and he felt real good after it. He came back nodding his head and, you know, basically saying, I blew it. I should have had the 200. I had it, you know, and so he's not, I don't think he's and he's not going to be worried about 200 as a number the next time he goes up on the platform, whether it be in the gym here or on a competition platform.
Yeah.
He's going to feel pretty confident with it.
Yeah. I feel like in his mind, he felt like it was a good lift, the 93.
Yeah.
So he almost was like, you know, there's no like team points, even though I didn't get that to count towards my official total. I feel like I've made it, kind of like a training make, and I think he's going to be more confident going out there, and I don't know, mentally looking at 93 as being his competition PR.
Yeah, 200 is a big lift.
More
and
weight.
That's a lift that can, really give people mental problems. So it's good that he actually got a chance to try it, and especially good that he actually felt like he had the lift.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't like he deadlifted it off the floor and clarked it and, you know, it was, you know, super heavy. He popped it and he went under, instead of getting his heels down, he went under a little 4-foot first and backed himself out, and he knew it. And that's what he felt he did. And he was, we all know what this means here. He was smiling after the clean and jerk. So, you know, Caleb, you know, he felt confident about that. He doesn't, like I said, I thought that might be a time for a lift like that to be tried.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't smile unless something's really feeling good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caleb, we've all seen Caleb walk off shaking his head.
After making a lift.
After making a lift many, many times. So, if he's coming off the platform smiling, something good's happening.
Well, Sean Rigsby had a PR clean and jerk, 176, which was a good lift. I'm sure there was a couple more PRs. I'm kind of going blank because I wasn't able to watch it. I did say Becca had a PR clean jerk of 103.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
I was happy to see
total.
that. I was very happy to see that because that was a good lift. I mean, that was a good lift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially after, usually when Becca misses a jerk, sometimes she's not always able to come back and make it, but she missed it on her second, came back and made it. So that, that's an important skill to learn how to do in a meet when you have to make your third attempt, then you do. So.
Yeah. I think Morgan, she cleaned 92. She didn't make the jerk, but she said that was the most she's ever cleaned in a competition. Yeah. And once she kind of figured that out, she was kind of happy. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Well, you know what really made her happy? When she found out how much money she had won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the high money winner, I think.
Yeah. $1,200.
I think her comment was, "I'm going to buy a pony."
Yeah.
I think that was what she was talking.
Getting that snatch taken away was a $500 mistake by me. And
I don't think it was a mistake by you.
Well, whatever. That was a $500 mistake, and then missing that jerk. So, man, I would have had some money too. But that's all right.
And to be fair to Morgan, I mean, as we know, she's playing injured. It was not a bad day. I mean, she didn't feel great about it, obviously. And it's hard to tell somebody, well, you're injured, and that they don't want to hear that right after a contest, and that they didn't do what they normally want or normally do or always want to do. And Morgan's a competitor. I mean, she's a killer out there.
One thing that is, I think it's a great trait, and sometimes it's a tough trait, but she expects so much of it out of herself that she, and that's awesome because she's always striving for more, and that gives her that fight and training because she knows that she's capable of huge numbers. But yeah, considering that she wasn't really able to train for a couple weeks leading up to the meet, like she was messing around with like 50 kilos in the snatch and 70 in the clean and jerk, and then a few days out was able to go like 65 and like 80 or something. But I mean, she wasn't able to hit lifts to be 100% crisp at max attempts, and she still went out there and attempted a PR snatch and a PR clean and jerk. She had a good meet, and the fact that I think that's a good thing to have because at some points in time you're going to have pain, you're going to have injuries and stuff that you're working around, and to know that you don't have to lift exactly as the plan goes and you can still do well.
Go ahead.
Speaking of injuries, how did your knee feel this competition?
My knee felt pretty good, actually. I've been having a little bit of issue with, I guess, like the popliteal something in the back of my knee.
Popliteal muscle.
It's been tight. I don't really know exactly what it is, but it's just kind of hard to flex the knee all the way, getting into the bottom of the squat. But I took it easy. The taper kind of gave it some rest, and it healed up nice. And it didn't bother me at all.
Well, obviously, it wasn't too bad.
Positive.
No, PR got a PR total.
Well, and you cleaned. Had you ever cleaned 175 in a competition?
I haven't. I missed it at the American Open.
And you cleaned it twice, is that right? Was it 175?
It's 175 and then 176.
Yeah,
okay.
That's right. We went up to 76.
Yeah, me and James were in the same session, so this time I wasn't really able to know what numbers he was doing because he was going around the same time as me, so I was trying to mentally prepare myself. But yeah, that's there was some big PR cleans. No, you didn't make
slabs of beef.
You didn't make the jerk, and I know you wanted to, but I mean, hey,
if I never hear anybody say that again.
I think that's my 10,535th time hearing that in my career. I'm really sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck, that was the first time I cleaned in a competition, so I'm excited about it. No.
You know who didn't have a bad meet as far as a mental strength meet was Dean. Not that he made the total he wanted. He was
PR
close to
clean and jerk.
clean our PR
He
jerk.
did hit a PR
total.
Yeah.
And what I liked most about that whole thing was he had a nice warm-up, a really sharp warm-up, and then he went out and made a little mistake on his first snatch and missed it. I think 120, I believe.
Yeah.
Which can, for anybody that's, you go out and miss your first snatch, that can upset you. And then he came back and made 2. That's good. That's a good, again, like Becca did, a good adjustment. After missing 1, you come back and make 2. Made 125, I think, at the end there of the snatches, and that while it's not as good as you maybe wanted to do, it'll serve you real good later. That you're just 1 doesn't mean I'm out. I can come back and make up for it and make a nice total too.
Yeah, at some point you're going to be in any situation if you're in enough weightlifting meets, and at some point or another you're going to miss your first 1 or miss your first 2, and how you react is sets the precedent. So
the only possible negative, because Dean did have a good meet,
yeah,
but the only possible negative is that high pull on the last clean and jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep waiting for him to get out of that habit,
Yep. He's close.
And he's made some progress. He's made progress.
Yep.
He's definitely becoming in the process of becoming a better lifter.
Yep.
But seeing him again go out and high pull the last clean and jerk,
yep,
did not make me super thrilled. I mean,
is that right?
I would have rather him do anything besides high pull it.
Did you say to yourself sitting there that I'm not super thrilled by that?
No, I didn't. I didn't necessarily mouth those words, but yeah, when you see that, I mean, because and the reason is because he pulls it so high.
Yeah,
he definitely puts the bar in a place that he can lift it.
Yep. Yeah,
and it's just mental. It's just entirely mental. And of course, I guess you'd rather see that than have him go out and tug on it and have it be super, super heavy, a weight that he can't get under. So it's positive that at least he's pulling it high.
This, I think, is part of becoming a better competitor. You've got to know that when you start a bar off the floor, everything has got to be as close to a reflex reaction as it can be. There's no time to think, oh, this is heavy, or oh, I'm a little forward. Or you just got to go. And the people that learn to go right out of the set position, those are the guys that are better competitors. And at some time in your career, hopefully, you make that crossover where you turn off the light, so to speak, and just go on autopilot.
True.
That would have been a huge competition PR, and he had already made that competition PR 154. So,
and that's another hard thing to come back and make 2 PRs in a meet anyway. That's difficult.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, not a bad meet for the team. Moving on to bigger and better things. Most people are training for nationals. Morgan and James are for sure training for Pan Ams, and I got to play the waiting game here for a week or 2 and decide if I need to register for that last meet for Pan Ams. And so hopefully we can get 3 people on there again. And Mike obviously has an opportunity because he's competing in California. So we'll have to look at the numbers and decide what attempts he needs to take. Give him a chance.
Yeah. I like Mike's chances. I mean, he has to have a big total. But, if a 289, which I think, from what Don said and from what the numbers look like, it looks like a 289, 290 would make the team. I think so, yeah. And, I like his chances of making that team. I think Don said it best. If he gets out and puts away a couple of snatches and gives himself a chance, he should be able to make it on the clean and jerk.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's going to be it. That's basically it for Mike. If he gets up into the upper 20s, near 30 in the snatch area, I'd start to put a little money down on him making whatever clean and jerk he had to make. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he's a big snatcher, so he's got to go out there and make something above 25 to have a chance. Sure. But if he can do that, then he's traditionally been a clean and jerker and really hasn't had the opportunity to take a PR clean and jerk in a meet lately. So certainly anything could happen. So it'll be fun to watch. Hopefully there's a live stream on that one. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pay $10 to watch it, but
I think they are having a live stream. I think I saw that I may be wrong.
I mean, they're probably not having a coach's aid like
Likely
this
wrong.
one, but I mean, hey, I'd rather have a Justin TV or, just one of those free ones Ustream that I can watch, even if it was shitty quality, if it was free. I mean, I just want to see, our teammate lift. So
Yeah. Well, I called Kevin Doherty this afternoon already. Got a call into him already to ask about the time because I don't think we knew the actual time that Mike was lifting.
I haven't seen it.
So he should get back to me this evening or something and clue me in on what the time schedule is. And hopefully they'll have a stream and hopefully we'll get to watch. I know, with me not being able to travel to the Pan Am, having the stream kept me from basically being extremely, extremely bored and frustrated. Yeah. So I would like to have the stream again for this meet, but we'll see.
I don't want to go deep into this, but I think I want to mention it. I really, really don't like this whole qualification process that we've gone through for this meet this year. I think it's Byzantine to say the least, but also makes athletes jump around and fly around and get ready again too much. I'd rather have, and I think Kendrick Ferris put a post on about this, I'd rather have it that you have a couple of secondary meets and you have a primary, and nobody's protected any more than their total protects them. And if whoever's in the top 8 or whatever it is going to the thing after the primary, that's it. No top 5 protected because they did this particular thing. I think it's silly.
I agree with that. You should have, it's like when Nationals used to be the primary qualifier for Worlds. You have Nationals and you have one smaller meet just in case somebody bombs out or something, and that's it. You have 2 qualifiers and you go with what the results are from those meets.
Yeah, this is a situation where you got people. We had a qualifier announced this past weekend.
Yeah.
At another qualifier, which is just silly, and a month away. That's
they're having one
just
up in
preposterous.
Reno now.
They're adding one, to the Reno meet.
Yeah. Especially in Reno. That's not exactly an easy airport to get to.
Well, it's just like I say. Athletes at this caliber can't be asked to keep peaking for primaries or second primaries or third, whatever it is. Silliness. And expect to then go to the actual meet and perform like they could perform. It's we all know there needs to be time
that's
to
one
come back
area
and get
where
ready.
I really think that both of us, and hopefully everybody else here also, agrees with Zygmunt wholeheartedly, or disagrees with Zygmunt wholeheartedly, because Zygmunt has said on numerous occasions that he would like to have as many qualifiers as possible, qualifier every weekend, to be competing constantly. And you just don't have any chance to get ready.
No.
Well, it's not possible financially for most people.
Yeah.
And
this is part of the problem. And
bigger country.
Exactly. I'm not going to pick out Zygmunt.
This isn't Europe.
Because it's Zygmunt. Zygmunt, I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's a great coach. But if you're having qualifiers every month or every 2 weeks in Poland, it's a little different than having qualifiers every week or every 2 weeks in the United States. It's just a huge country here, and people certainly just can't afford. And if they can afford, it still doesn't mean that they're 100% when they get to the qualifiers.
So we're actually going to change the qualifying procedures to include home videos.
I think that'd be good.
The CrossFit Open.
Yeah, we get a little Photoshop action
I think
going.
I'm there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push for it.
You're going to go for that?
All right, where are you at, Mike Graber?
Yeah, Mike Graber.
Graber, let's talk this up.
Yeah.
Then you won't have to put anything on Facebook like send me money to go to such and such a meet. Nobody have to do fundraising to go to, wherever it is, Oregon for a meet. I don't know.
Oregon.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Oregonians.
I kind of see the rationality for it, but I definitely don't agree with it. And, it does kind of suck because, I want to compete head-to-head against my competitors. It kind of sucks. Given if I had my competitors there this weekend, I would know what attempts to take and what lifts I had to make specifically. So it kind of sucks that they kind of know my total and they can go in and take attempts this weekend. But you know what? Whatever. If they make the lifts, they deserve to beat me out on rankings. So.
No, they don't. It's an unfair advantage, and they shouldn't have had this meet this week, but they did. That's another decision by the USAW.
It's one of those
that's
things
incorrect.
I agree with the reasoning for it. There's other reasons not to have it. I mean, their reasoning was to have a meet on the other side of the country where the people could get to, without traveling all the way to the East Coast. But having that meet after the Arnold basically gives everyone that goes to that meet an advantage over all the lifters on the East Coast. And let's face it, there's a lot of great lifters in California, but the majority of the people making the teams are still on the East Coast.
Well, like I say, if that was the rationale, and if they were to have a meet this, for the West Coasties, then they should have it at the same time that the Arnold was being done, even though they'd still have a 3-hour difference, but the same day, not a week after. That is an unfair advantage, and that's all there is to it. And hey, I love the Doherty brothers and what they've done out there, and this has nothing to do with them. This is part of the mess that usually comes from the USAW, and I have no idea. I honest to God, right now, have no idea what they're thinking.
Yeah. Anytime you get into having too many qualifiers and too many situations, you're going to run into everything's going to be unfair to somebody.
Sure.
Everything's going to disadvantage a certain person. And if you just have it like we used to have it, which was you have a primary qualifier and you have a secondary qualifier, and that's it. I think that's the best system. And I don't know that it can be improved upon.
I don't know that there's a reason to fix it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly.
The only thing that ever could be said about that being wrong was if the national championship was so far, and that was the primary qualifier, was so far away from the international competition that it was almost meaningless that you were in shape at the nationals. Then maybe you have a reason to have another meet.
Well, then you just have nationals at a different date, that you have complete control of when nationals.
Well, that would be the best case scenario, but you don't always have complete control. So,
but at the end of the day, we're going to play what hand was dealt, and it is what it is. We'll play the game. We'll go to the meets we need to go to, and give it our best shot.
Exactly.
Now, anything else about the Arnold and?
No, I think I'm about talked out about the Arnold.
I had a fun time. I had some good competition. Actually, they competed after me. It was Leo Hernandez and the Spanish 77, Gonzalez, I think his last name was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gonzalez, I don't even know if that's his last name, but he beat me at the World Championships. He won the B session. I guess you could say I lost the B session. But either way, he beat me at the World Championships. So that was one of my goals going into it, was to beat the Spanish 77. And I got him by 2 kilos. I was pretty excited about it.
Well, that's a good...
He came in out of shape, but still.
Well, that was his own fault for being out of shape.
Yeah. So that was it was fun. And then we had a few people, like Leo Hernandez took some attempts to jump ahead of me, too.
Yeah, he attempted 75 in a clean and jerk.
Yeah, 75. He did 70 like nothing. I don't think I've ever seen anyone stand up that quickly with 70. And but then he got stuck under 75.
He wears those pretty thick knee wraps, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Like red line knee wraps or something like that. I noticed he had those.
Yeah, I know he wears the wraps, but I don't know which ones.
Yeah. Not a lot of your top lifters wear those, but
yeah,
some of them do.
Yeah,
not a lot, but
I got to talk to him and his coach, another Cuban lifter from back in the day. I guess he used to be at 56.
Yeah,
lots of international people at the Arnold. It's always fun.
We talked about him coming out of here. I broached the subject with him and his coach a couple of months ago. And the only fly in the ointment was he wanted to come out, but he is not a U.S. citizen. So he would have to go through the whole rigmarole of getting his U.S. citizenship before he was able to, and that kind of is applying the ointment.
Yeah, especially given the new qualifying procedures. So, it'd be very tough to get U.S. citizenship and be eligible for the Olympics this time around anyways.
Yeah, and that qualifying procedures, you have to go to 2 WADA-tested international meets before the Olympics.
Tell me, Travis, is that an IOC?
That's an IWF rule.
Or IWF, that's what I meant. Yep.
Non-negotiable, and they're doing that to make sure that countries do not send certain lifters to the qualifications and then send someone who's never been tested.
And is that
to
2 international meets between now and the Olympic trials?
It starts with the World Championships this year, and there's 8 meets that U.S. citizens are eligible to go to.
And that's the World Championships in 2014.
Right.
It starts with.
Yeah, it starts with. So anything before that doesn't count for qualification. So obviously our main goal here is to make the World Championships this year, because anything else doesn't really count for Olympic qualification. So we're here to make the Olympics, and that's what we're focused on. So.
Yep, that's a stiff. Well, I mean, that's a fair kind of a thing as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's as fair as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it tough. You can't really get injured. You got to make sure.
Yeah.
So they're definitely, if you need surgery or something, you got to be right on your rehab to get back into tip-top shape before the Olympic trials. Whereas before, you could kind of like rehab, do things right, and then get ready for the Olympic trials when you needed to. But I get the rule. I like that one. I think that one kind of makes sense. If you haven't made the world team and competed for team points, then I can see you're going to want people to represent you that have represented you and gotten you those team points. So
yeah,
I think that's fair.
I have to say I agree with it too.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it does make it tough if you come up with any kind of injury. Of course, the Olympics are always a meet that are tough on somebody that gets injured at the wrong time. Sometimes we've seen it before. You've seen, obviously the better lifters it's happened before where they've just gone down within a year or so of the Olympics, and unfortunately, that's it. They don't have time to rehab, and they miss it. And the Olympics comes every 4 years. It's a tough one.
Now, James, you got a question. So before we go off, you got a question about injuries and hernias specifically.
Yeah, somebody tweeted me, and they said they're going through a hernia right now, and they're wondering if we had any advice for them, and just kind of in weightlifting, I guess. My first response is, nope, never had a hernia, and I don't know too much about them.
I've never had a hernia either, but I know that when you're under heavy load and you're straining, it kind of typically happens when you're somewhat out of shape, right? Like you're kind of out of shape, but you're still capable of doing big lifts. And
out of shape or out of position.
Yeah.
But both of those really bring those things along.
No, not always. I mean, sometimes it just happens in training, freak accident. But can you kind of explain what exactly that is for the listeners, James?
What exactly a hernia?
Yeah, just kind of how it happens.
Yeah, I guess the abdominal hernia. I mean, you got your transverse abs and then the fascia that go across, and then you got your rectus abdominals, which are all kind of like layers, kind of keeping your gut in. And so sometimes you'll get a small tear in that fascia. That's usually where it happens, not necessarily the muscle. And so it could be on the umbilical or the belly button, or kind of, I don't know, I guess you could call it the crevice in the abs where the fascia is. And then you just get bulges there, and then sometimes your intestines will push out between that little tear, and then you'll have, I don't know, it's kind of like pinching your intestines.
I'm disgusted by this injury right now.
Well, in layman's terms, basically your abs can tear and your intestines can pop through. Yeah. Puts a lot of pressure on you, and it sucks. And most of the time you need surgery to fix it.
Very painful. But something I have heard about the surgery, I mean, you get the surgery, you depending on how bad it is, it's a fairly short recovery time as far as major surgery goes. And then your abdominal wall is actually stronger with this mesh than it was before any of the damage.
So it basically just puts the mesh in there to hold the intestines away, to sew up the muscle or fascia or whatever, and then it recovers. There's not too many ways to get around it except for by surgery. So even if you're able to push your intestine back through, you're kind of
screwed.
Yeah,
your fascia doesn't get a whole lot of blood flow.
You're just delaying the inevitable.
Would you say that it's probably best to seek the surgeon pretty quick?
No, I'm no doctor, but from all that I've read.
But you played one on TV, didn't you? Yeah, exactly. No, sorry.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper, that was just the...
a different thing altogether. a different show altogether.
I've never had anyone that I knew closely have a hernia, so I'm completely not qualified to even speak to that. But I did know a couple of people that have had hernias, and they had surgery, and they had their recovery was fairly short, and they recovered 100%.
Yeah.
And so I would say if you have it, it's better to just get the surgery and get it over with rather than fight it for ages.
Yeah, I believe, and I may not, I think I'm right on this. I believe Tara Knott Cunningham got that injury before the 2000 Olympics, and I think she had mesh put in, and obviously she recovered because she won the gold medal at the Olympics. And I can't remember exactly how close, but I'm believing it was in the last year before the Olympics. And I know she had mesh put in.
Yeah.
And so, just like everybody is saying here, the chances of recovery are pretty good.
Yeah. You get the surgery, do your rehab correctly, and you can certainly recover from that. It's definitely easier to recover from than some surgeries. But yeah, I guess we need to wrap up. We got training here in about 5 minutes. So we had a ton of fun at the Arnold, and thanks to all the fans that are out there cheering. The crowd was super loud. Wish I could have made that last jerk because everyone went nuts when I walked onto the stage. So I was really fighting for that one, but unfortunately wasn't able to. But yeah, we had tons of fun at that. So, you guys got anything?
I have nothing.
I have less than that.
Yeah. From what I saw on the video feed, of course I didn't get the full effect because I wasn't at the Arnold, but from the video feed, it seemed like everyone was certainly psyched up, excited. Even off the video feed, you could get some of the excitement and everything. It looked like a hell of a lot of fun. It looked like a meet that I would have liked to have gone to.
And I've said this a lot of times. I think the Arnold is the big meet of the year that I look forward to. It's just a lot of fun.
The only problem is it's in Ohio.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, especially when it snows.
Yeah,
that was a little bit of a problem. Although we did find good food.
Did you have any of that chili, that Highline chili?
No. Somebody was talking about going there, but I never did. I don't know if any of these guys did.
Was it last year, Travis, that we went there?
I didn't go. I still had to lift. You guys got all the bigger guys.
I think that was a bigger guy's trip. Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. I think that was a big guy's trip.
It was a super strip.
Some kind of chili with a pound of cheese on it or something.
Yeah, it was literally a pound of cheese on this chili. It was.
So if you're in Columbus, get some chili with a pound of cheese.
Get some chili with a pound of cheese. Yeah,
can't beat it.
Well, anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Check out teespring.com/theweightlifting-scoop. We really need your support and some rally over the next week so that we can get those t-shirts made. And we'll be putting out some more exciting training videos coming up soon. And so just look out for everything.